tonight. After work, I drive to the theater in Santa Monica, yes, to direct Natalie in the play, and yes, in hindsight, perhaps casting Natalie in a play that I wrote about her wasn't exactly an airtight substitute for couples counseling. But if I may, that's probably the one and only typo in the screenplay of my life, a totally unabridged understanding of all things by Ryland Florida. Florida. If I believed in God, he'd be a TV sitcom writer kind of God. Give us this day our daily bread, and thank you for naming me after my least favorite state in the Union. I mean, it dangles off the map like a limp phallus. It's muggy and so flat that any day now the most minimal of tides will swallow it forever, hopefully. A talent agent at William Morris once asked me how I would describe myself in 5 words or less. I don't know. Not Florida. But I do have a plan. Of course I have a plan. Now I understand that some of you might say talking Natalie back into love with me isn't the best way to recover and move on, but I think it is. At the theater, I park, I take a deep breath, enter through the backstage door, and there she is, Natalie. My plan begins with saying hi. Her plan begins with slapping me really hard in the mouth. Fuck, I knew my plan was shit. Natalie next holds out a copy of the Tolkien's The Two Towers that I loaned her back when we were perfect together. Shaking with anger, she tries to tear the pages from its spine, which is harder to do than you might think. She gives up, and as the book sails toward my face, my first thought is of Natalie and I in bed. Cut to Natalie and I in bed. As we neared the climactic throes of bed wrestling, Natalie's favorite joke was to do that sexy bite of her lip and say, you know what the best thing is to come out of Florida, or in the AM, wake up Florida, let's make some fresh squeezed, kind of gross, right? Personally, as penis references go, I prefer the semi-flaccid southeastern state over the image of round, peelable fruit. Back to the theater and that book. I turn to protect my face, and the corner of the book's spine hits me dead center on the ear. Reaching for the prop table, Natalie grabs a carton of orange juice. The brand reads, Florida's Finest. The irony is not lost on me. As the carton ricochets off my head, she says, I am not a dog whore. It's true, though I may convince myself I'm not screaming mad that Natalie went out and made orange juice with a guy behind my back. I did, in an email, describe her as a prostitute for dogs. In my defense, I say, I can't believe you tried to rip my book, Natalie. I didn't cheat on you. You did not. We're all just carved ponies impaled on your merry-go-round. You write a new one up while the other's down. She slaps me in the mouth again real hard. After the stinging ebbs, I turn to the horrified actors and stage crew. And scene, I say, managing a half smile, but they still look horrified. I look back to Natalie as the theater door slams shut behind her. I say to everyone, I guess we'll rehearse the scenes without Natalie today. Stage manager says, there aren't any. We'll jump around a little bit. It's called a relationship because it's like a vessel. Movement is implied. It sails into a breathtaking sunset or dashes on the rocky shore. Sexually, Natalie drugged me to new ground. Dirty stories, little outfits, occasional appliance. But if you're gonna have good sex with a girl, do everything possible, everything you ever dreamed of. Leave no undiscovered land for the next Magellan to come along and poke his flag into. I began compiling a list of our sexual adventures. If the list is complete and I can imagine nothing to add, I might be able to get back to 3 meals a day. Natalie sends me a text. I'm sorry we hurt you. All right, it's not solely the sex with Natalie that was good. There's something else. But before Natalie, I struggled occasionally, you know. What I mean is, with girls before Natalie, it was sometimes, for some reason, difficult to perform with consistency. Yes, it bothered me a lot, so I went down to that Boston place. What's it called? Anyway, I went in there and I said, something's wrong with it. Actually, it wasn't that easy. The clinic is on a busy street, so I had to sneak in through a 99-cent store, get a donut at a bakery nearby, then fake like I was getting a paper in order to duck into the building without anyone, you know, spotting me. Inside the lobby, there was a couple. A couple. Why on earth would you want your girlfriend or wife or whatever to come along with you? Leave the man some dignity, woman. No wonder the guy's impotent. Never say that word, not even in your head. Pulling my hood lower, I then stepped to the window and thank Christ they let me right in. The doctor, I guess he's a doctor, said, well, let's take a look. Pause. Look? Can't you just, I started to say, but he put on a glove, ordered me to drop him, and grabbed it. It was awkward. All I could think was, thank God I'm impotent. After that exam, the next involved some kind of electrode test, and then he said, Mr. Florida, there's absolutely not a thing wrong with you or your thing. It's all in your head. Great news, I thought. Bad news. In your head is the worst thing you can have, he informed me. 2 options, Viagra, or a serum you inject with a needle into your flaccid penis approximately right around the panhandle. I asked which was better. Viagra sucks and doesn't work very well, he said. I took the Viagra. I used it to kickstart the sexual part of whatever relationship I was in, and it worked. With the next girl, they were out of Viagra, but I was really anxious about our first encounter, so I took the needle thing. Half an hour before sex, I drew the serum into the syringe, and then I had to inject. That's all I had to do, was inject. That's all it was. Easy. That's all I had to do. Just inject. It was the longest 3-minute conversation anyone in the world ever had with a bathroom mirror. Ever. I know it's a funny story, but my point is, with Natalie, I didn't need it. In fact, I think she cured me forever. Since the first time I pulled her hips near mine, my southern keys stood like Maine pointing at Quebec. So what I'm saying is, there's that. Jump to a girlfriend further down the book. What happens is this. You click on the internet dating ad and you fall together. Like her little pet pug in spite of yourself. Then you meet her family, you start to share expenses, which makes for a quick reminder that she makes more than you. And you start to feel, you can't help but feel somewhat beholden. You try to clean a little more, walk the dog, and you begin to walk on eggshells in your own place. You wonder, what has happened to me? One day you come out of the shower, your girlfriend's on the couch, and she has that funny look on her face, and she asks, what are you doing? Getting dressed. And then grabbing a shirt, you ask, what are you doing? She says, I'm not happy, I think we should break up. Why? She says, I don't love you anymore. Here's a bad poem about love. Maybe love is like riding a bicycle. Once you finally figure out how to ride the damn thing, you get cocky and try with no hands, then the freaking chain locks up and your teeth make sparks on the pavement. 3 days later, at the front door, once our front door, now officially her front door, the screen shuts between us with a rickety slam. I'm sorry we're breaking up, she says. Down below, my car's trunk waits for the last armful of belongings. No, you're not, I say. She reconsiders. I'm sorry that you're sad about it. I head down a couple steps and then pause. What is it, she asks. It's just, no girl is gonna fall for me now with a big dent in the side of my car. She laughs. The kind of laugh that sounds like you've almost won her heart back and that she doesn't want to see you go. Girls will still fall for you, she says, and then she waits. The kind of wait that is like a girl whose heart you have not won back, who is not going to ask you to stay. Instead, you'll be fine, she says. Thanks, is what I say. And I think, good, this was never gonna work out anyway. Good. And for almost a second, I believe that a dent in the side of my car doesn't make me less of a person.